and welcome back to In the KIoTchen. I'm Kerry Siggins, your host and CEO of Breadware. And today I have David Tai with me. David is the founder and CEO of Medium One, who Breadware just happened to acquire. And we're going to have a fun conversation about IoT cloud platforms. So welcome to the show, David. Glad you're here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Good. All right. So tell us a little bit about yourself and about why you started Medium One.
So I have an engineering background, and I'm passionate. I've always been passionate about using technology to solve problems, and IoT is big in that area. So, IoT enables connecting devices to the cloud, and it really unlocks endless possibilities. So it's a very exciting area to be in, coming from my engineering background. And we started the company right around 2014. When IoT was just becoming a thing. Most people didn't even know what it meant. So around that time, like the Nest thermostat just came out and it just blew everyone away. Like, here's a thermostat that's connected. It would learn, what if you're home and what kind of temperature you like and optimize your energy. It solved multiple problems for homeowners. And it was very clear that was the way of the future. So we saw an opportunity where we think, many companies are going to follow that path. They want to connect things to solve problems. And at the time, there really wasn't an IoT platform. You would approach the problem as if you're building hardware or you're building software and you have to hire a team. And so we saw, an opportunity to come up with a platform that will help companies have a head start if they want to participate and create an IoT solution. So we created a white label ready IoT platform that enables companies to take something off the shelf, connect their product to it, and have something operational from day one. And then from there, they can customize it to their needs. So this is really great for companies who don't have a lot of in-house software expertise. They don't want to build something from scratch. They really want to get something to market. And I like to think of ourselves as kind of like Wix is for websites, or like Shopify is for e-commerce. And it's been great. It's been a great journey to enable all sorts of companies to participate in the realm of IoT.
And so when you were starting the company and IoT is brand new, was it difficult to get people to see like this is the future? And was it difficult to develop the product because there was still so much unknown back then?
Yeah, the vision of, customers saw the vision, and it was one of those things where the customers were equally excited because everyone wanted to capture the value and optimize their operation, whether it's automating something or providing a new revolutionary product. The challenges were more on the hardware side and how to integrate that to the cloud. The integration point was a big challenge. And you have chipsets from all sorts of companies, you have different radios and modems to get up there. And you're really dealing with two different ways of building. You have software engineers and you have hardware engineers. It's like cats and dogs, and then you have to have everyone work together. So that was really the big challenge. How does this happen? And I felt like companies like us were like pioneers, and we were working with chip makers to try to solve this problem together, for example.
Yeah. Well, and it's kind of the whole reason why Breadware started, right? On the hardware side of this very problem too. So it's always just that interesting perspective. And yeah, I agree. The hardware design and it is like dogs and the software is like cats, and getting them to play together is so important. But I think that it's really it's developed quickly when you see really what kind of IoT capabilities are out there. So have you found it easier now to integrate with the hardware portion of the products now that we're further along down the road?
Yeah, it's changed in the last 7 years since we started. It's changed quite a bit. And we've made it super easy for customers from all fronts, from all layers in the stack. All the companies have made it super easy. So, we have a long history of Breadware, and Breadware's approach to providing rapid prototyping, ready to go. It's very aligned with how our approach is. So customers, it's pretty amazing. Customers can have a product without having to write one line of code and without having to learn, how a specific chipset works, for example. They just need to specify the requirements, and chances are things have already been hooked up and done before. And so it's come a long way for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So that's going to segue into kind of my next question is, how does IoT software really improve that customer experience? Yes, it makes it easier to develop the product, but how about, the person using the IoT device?
Yeah, that's a great question. So software there's different levels of software. You have firmware, and you have software in the cloud, and you have the mobile app, for example. Firmware is limited. It runs on the device, but you have limited storage, you have limited compute. If it's battery operated, you have limited power consumption you can use. So that restricts what the device can do. But once you connect it to the cloud, those limitations go away. You have endless compute, endless storage, and look at Alexa as an example. It's a speaker and a microphone, right? A couple buttons. But because it's connected, it can pull resources give you information at your fingertips. And it can stream music, it can do a whole variety of things. And that's enabled by software. That's enabled by connecting it to the internet and be able to have access to endless possibilities. The other thing is, in the old days, I don't want to say old days, but traditionally products would have some sort of HMI, like a human machine interface. They'll have a screen, maybe a touch screen, and that adds costs. That's building up more firmware. But if it's connected, you don't need that anymore. You can build a mobile app, and that is your interface, and that's how you engage with the products. And that has a lot of benefits too, to continuing and innovating the product. We can update the app versus updating the hardware. And I'm going to use Alexa as an example as well. I rarely have to engage and touch my Alexa, but on the app, you can customize, create skills, and do all sorts of things. So I think, that has definitely changed the way software has definitely changed the way users interact with their devices, by enabling mobile and by enabling cloud.
Yeah. My favorite IoT device is my FitTrack scale, which seems really weird. Like, who the heck wants to step on a scale? But I love it. The information that this scale that, it's reading, how electricity is running through your body and what it can tell you about your body fat percentage, the water percentage you have in your body, what your muscle mass is, and then use that to help you build out a plan for whether it's muscle gain or weight loss or, maintenance or any of these things. And it's just so amazing when you actually think about, like, hey, I'm standing on the scales, telling me what's going on inside my body. I can get it on my app, and then I can start to make decisions in my life through that app to create a more healthy lifestyle. And so, I think that a lot of people just take it for granted, right? That this stuff works, but you don't really think about what goes on behind the scenes to pull the whole system together to make it, to make it useful for people, to make it profitable for the person who's manufacturing it.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So let's talk about how cloud-based IoT platforms are becoming more innovative. What are you seeing in the software space?
It's furthering along. What I'm seeing is our cloud platform trying to further along the goal of trying to make things easy for companies to deploy. And there's a lot of industries that want to get into IoT, and the goal is to make it easy for companies to participate. So we're seeing a lot of companies trying to solve problems, trying to make things easier, so that and the challenge with IoT platforms is that you're trying to address the problems from multiple fronts. Unlike traditional software, you're trying to address the problem from the hardware side, and then you want to try to make it easier on the cloud side, and then there's the mobile. Whereas sometimes there's a company that's just focused on mobile, for example. We're seeing a lot of out-of-the-box, easy integration on the hardware side. And for example, working with Breadware is going to further that along. How can a company, integrate IoT to an existing product or create a new product very easily? So there's a lot of out-of-the-box capabilities coming from that front. And then on the cloud side, scaling out, adding, AI, machine learning. There's a lot of trying to use data in a smart way. We call our IoT platform a data intelligence platform, for example. And so that there's a lot of work around trying to extract all that data, because there's a lot of data coming in. How do you make sense of it and then provide the value you're looking for? And mobile as well. So everyone wants mobile. So making it easy and accessible for companies to have mobile as part of their offering. We're seeing that play out as well, where you can have mobile very easily.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of ideas start with that. Like we at StoneAge, Breadware's parent company, we just launched our first IoT-enabled product, and an automatic heat exchanger cleaning machine that is collecting data as the machine is cleaning. And it started with the data, right? It started with, hey, we want to be able to see these things. And then we worked backwards. And then that was always, the data is always coming in after the fact, right? So you download it and then you look at the report. And then the next thing is like, oh, no, I want to be able to see this real time. I want to know exactly what's going on in this machine and have that visualization through my cloud-based platform on my phone. And now how do we work backwards for that? So I think a lot of companies, and why I think that software is really driving a lot of innovation in IoT, is that people have an idea of how they want to see the data, how they want to, get customers to buy their product because of the data it produces. And then you work backwards. But our vision always started with, this is what we want our customers to be able to see and track. And now how do we work backwards? Would you say that's pretty common?
Yes, that is. And what we're finding now is what you described is exactly it. We'll engage with companies and they would tell us what they want. Yep. They'll say, okay, I want to be able to alert when this happens. I want this type of experience. And, and then companies like us, companies like Breadware would just make it happen for them. And that's really what's great about it. To be able to engage with companies and they have a sophisticated product, but not having to, all they have to worry about is defining it. They don't have to worry about building it. That's where a lot of the work and innovation has gone into.
Yep, absolutely. Good. All right. So let's shift a little bit to this acquisition. We've mentioned it a couple of times. Why are you so excited about the acquisition that Breadware just made of Medium One? And how do you think the two companies combined are going to create even more value for our clients?
Yeah, we have a great working relationship with Breadware. And one of the things, and I'm very excited about this acquisition because I think the customers are going to win big time. One of the benefits of working with Medium One is that we provide, one total solution. So the customer doesn't have to, let's say, buy one piece of software and then integrate with another piece of software so they can provide an offering, because we're just then pushing the work somewhere else. But one of the things that happens is, okay, so we can provide a total cloud solution with mobile, but we wouldn't be able to build the hardware. And that was a lot of times the gating item for projects. They wouldn't know where to look for expertise, and we'll have to spend a lot of time guiding them. And we have a great ecosystem of partners, but we put the work on the customer to play the role of a systems integrator. And what's great is that Breadware and Medium One provides a very unique offering where we can go to a customer and they can do what you say. They can just define what they want, and we can solve it right from the hardware side and integrate it all the way to the app. And they don't have to worry about anything in between. They don't have to worry about security. They don't have to worry about chipset selection. They don't have to worry about firmware design, manufacturing. We can help take it all. So I think we're going to provide huge value for a big segment of the market just by catering to that and just taking a lot of their headaches and risk off the table.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. We're really excited to have you guys as part of the team. I think we're going to do great things together. And I think you just explained it really articulately. Thank you. All right. So to wrap things up, to all of those product designers out there, entrepreneurs who are thinking about building an IoT enabled product, what's your best piece of advice for them?
Well, like we started our company small, so I got lots of advice for entrepreneurs. I think the biggest advice I would give anybody, which I gave myself this advice earlier on, is um, to focus on proving your value quickly. And the way you would prove your value quickly is to try to minimize the amount you spend on building a product, try to reuse something that's already out there in the market, expect lots of iteration, and go out there and talk to your customers. Go out there and prove the value, go out there and sell your product, and don't be as focused on trying to build the perfect product because it's going to change and you'll go through a big learning experience. And so I'm a big advocate of getting MVP out there, getting a prototype out there, shipping something to your customers, and just testing the market. And your resources are limited, so for every dollar you spend on engineering, I would spend $5 on marketing and sales. Go out there and prove the value. That's my biggest recommendation.
That's great. Great advice. Well, thank you for coming on the show today, David. That was very informative, and welcome to the Breadware team.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Thank you, Kerry.
All right. Well, take care and have a good day. Bye, everyone.
Yeah.